I'm just kidding. Okay, so fun fact. We learned that Jenga is Swahili for building up. Bars. Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. I'm super excited today because we get to hang out and talk about a concept of 70 times 7, which is all about forgiveness. So let's get started. So we are going to use our Edify conversation blocks to kind of start a conversation about forgiveness. The intention is to keep it fun, be normal, act casual. Some of the blocks are blank. Some of them do have questions on them. Hold the blocks we're gonna play. Whenever you do get a question, like we said, you just read it and then whoever wants to answer can answer. Okay. So who wants to go first?
Do the colors mean anything?
No, they're just pretty, right? You want to go first?
There you go.
Sure. Okay. And because we're building up, don't make it fall. Okay.
No pressure. It's coffee over here.
Do you have a question?
Okay. Okay, the question is, what are some traits of forgiveness that should be in practice daily? I think of doing it quickly. Doing it quickly. Because from experience, if you don't forgive quick enough, it can sit and it can fester. And then it can ruin relationship. And not only that, but it can travel. So it can go from generation to generation if it's not caught in time. So
that's good.
Quickly forgiving,
Yeah.
I think, is one thing that I think of.
That was good.
Oh, that's really good.
Being married, things happen. Okay. Things happen and y'all live in the same house, the same quarters, the same vicinity. Yeah. And when you have a disagreement and you don't forgive quick enough or quickly, that stuff sits in your house.
Yeah.
It does.
And it just grows and it grows and it grows. And then it's like your husband or your wife can feel it. And it's just, you just gotta practice it every day, all the time.
Acknowledging that like something bothered you and not just, oh, it's fine.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's
And
really
just trying to be like, oh, that's cool, I'll get over it. When it really bothers you, like acknowledging like, yeah, that bothered me.
I actually want to say something.
Yeah, go ahead.
About that. I think it's been something we've been working on now that we just got married.
Congratulations.
It's been so about like 2 months and a half. And I mean, it's a whole different story when you're not living together to now living together, right? So you're learning things about each other. And I think we've been applying our vows, honestly, because that's one thing that before we got married, he had told me from the get-go to never go to sleep angry, even though we were not living together. Okay, let me clarify that. but it was something that was very neat, even within dating, that it was something that he told me. And so I tried to keep that in mind, and something that I wrote for my vows.
But I think that's great though, because you guys already see that forgiveness is a huge part of a growing relationship. And so if you can get it sooner than later, I believe that, but let me tell you,
It's work.
it's work. And you're gonna have to forgive every day. And you think about the concept of 70 times 7, and that's daily. That's not even like 70 times 7 your whole life. That's like a daily thing, right?
I wanted to add, my husband has always said, have you thought about the time when the enemy or the devil showed up after he got kicked out?
The garden.
Yeah. When family was presented, when there was unity, when there was a husband and a wife. So people underestimate that he is a skilled warrior. So the very thing that he's going to attack is anything that looks unified or anything that, like you said, to be quick to forgive. So that's one of the things that I never forget.
And also what I think in that too is, well, in my mind it's always like, okay, I don't want to go to bed mad with you because in the morning I'm going to ride to work. So I don't know if I'm coming back, to be honest. And let's be honest, right?
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't want to, let's say if I pass away, I don't want to be mad with you. And that was the last thing we had. So I don't want you to be thinking on that, oh, should we just fight? The last time we see each other was we just fighting and we never forget or fix it, right? So I'm like, I push myself. I know, and sometimes as a guy, it's hard to go and say like and express your emotion. It's been so hard. These 2 months has been so hard. I'm like,
no. You're gonna get there. Let's hope, brother.
So my heart, really hard to express my feelings sometimes because it's like I don't know, and sometimes you just have to, you know what? Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And I always try to push my ego. I'll put it on the side to be just like, I want to be good with you. Just let's be okay.
Yeah.
And let's not make a small thing a big thing. Yeah.
I think with that, like another trait to add on to that, when you said being able to put your ego to the side, is being humble enough to know like the bigger picture. Like it's more important, like in that moment, instead of I'm right, you're wrong. You know what I mean? So being able to forgive and honestly forgive, I think is important in that, like when you're moving yourself out the way.
If if you're gone the next day, or if I'm gone the next day, like what does it really truly matter, right? There's a lot of layers to forgiveness. It really is.
Which is why it's a lifestyle.
It is a lifestyle.
That anybody can afford.
It really is a lifestyle.
You cannot afford not to forgive.
Where do I put it? I put it back. Oh, I forget how to play Jenga. We're playing. Oh wait, hold on. Jeez. Okay, wait.
That's wherever she puts it.
Okay.
We're trying not to knock this down.
Right.
You want to go?
Let's go.
Okay. Let's do it.
I like twist your block.
Would you like to share something? Would you like to add on?
I would. What Taylor had said about like the trait of being humble, right? And I know when we first got married, like there are two scriptures. There are two scriptures that would always come to mind. Was that God resists the proud, but He gives grace to the humble. And husbands, treat your wives as you should, so that your prayers wouldn't be hindered. And so, and then it'd just be cutting at me to where I'm like, my Lord, what about her? And God's like, well, what about you and how you're dealing with it?
And not just outwardly. It's like
He knows your innermost thoughts.
You know, because like you can try to play it off like, oh, it's fine, but then you sit down to have dinner and you're, Lord, thank you for this food. And like, wait, something's off.
oh man,
Let's fix this first before we pray over this meal. Being humble about it, and then also when that replay tries to come in your mind again, I acknowledge it, but I'm not going to entertain it. That happened to me a few months ago.
Wow.
And I, like, throughout my whole day,
Just ruined.
Terrible. I couldn't even drive. Like, it was just bad. I was like, how am I supposed to pass this test? I'm mad at my wife. Like, for real. Like, I'm being honest with you. I'm being dead serious.
Yeah.
But I knew that I couldn't go home, walk through that door, and be like, hey, what's up? Give me a kiss. You know what I mean? Like, no, it ain't gonna work. So I had to, I called before I got home. I was like, sorry. This is what I did, boom, boom, boom. Here's what you did. No, I'm kidding. I was like, I'm sorry, I was wrong, this and that. I was convicted, Lord forgive me, boom, boom, boom. And discussed, made it right, and then just align right back up.
Sometimes we talk about it like 5 minutes before we go into like an event or something. And if we're mad at, let's talk about this.
That's good, though.
Because
That's
you
really
acknowledge
great
it.
That's a great foundation.
A lot of people struggle with forgiveness, but you're bold enough to acknowledge or even admit that you're struggle with forgiveness instead of like being proud about it and saying, I don't struggle with forgiveness. I forgive everybody all the time.
I forgive everyone except for that one time. But I think that it's forgiveness to me, the reminder of like when you go to the dentist and they're like, have you been flossing? You're like, yeah, always. Yeah. I know you haven't been flossing because your gums are bleeding. You know what I'm saying? That's how you know. I like what you shared where it's like, okay, as soon as it comes to me where I don't want to deal with it, but let me just go ahead. I don't feel like doing it, but let me just go ahead and let me exert that energy, that positive, instead of just dwelling in like, well, he's gonna have to say it first. Not just in a marital situation, for singles, friendships, all kind of different dynamics.
I was gonna say that, like pride is one of those big issues that a lot of people deal with, and sometimes you don't even know that you're dealing. You don't even know that you have pride, and that's an even bigger issue. But
that's it's a hidden. It hides. It hides, and you don't even know it's there.
Here we go.
Let's do it.
Are we a blank?
It's very pretty.
Pick up a piece.
Let's talk about
Take a risk.
something. Yeah.
Make mistakes.
Well, the question is talk about the impact of unforgiveness.
So what happens on the flip side?
Oh,
Delayed
that's
forgiveness.
so
Yeah.
good. That's a
Or
good
not
question.
forgiving at all.
Well, like we were saying, even in our prayers, like you said, you were saying too, right? Your prayers, they don't go up to God. Literally, they just, that's one of the impact there in your prayer, right?
Yeah.
I used to be a server, right? I used to love serving people and like a waiter taking their food. And the servers, they get a tip. That's it. That's literally their payment, right?
Yeah.
They don't get paid hourly, it's just by tip. So I was serving, giving like jokes to the table, like laughing with them and selling and everything. Their tappy was literally like 120. And I was like, oh, they're gonna tip really well, right? Let's do it. literally what they did, just left some coins. And it really hurt me. And I got mad. I was like, what the heck? They literally were laughing together. I was
You thought you were making a
connection and everything. And you left me just some coins.
That's how they.
That's messed up. As a server, you're like, oh shoot, man. I mean, I deserve a little more, no?
Yeah.
And to be honest, they don't deserve my service again. Of course, if they happen, it happened, right?
Yeah.
And it happened. And guess what? They asked for me. They were like, oh, I want that guy again. I'm like, oh shoot. Why me? I mean,
I don't want them.
I don't want them, you know? And it's something super small, but I was like, okay, here's where I literally show the love of God. It's not if I don't want to. It doesn't matter if I don't want to forgive. It doesn't matter well, here's part of my job, right? Yeah. It doesn't matter if I don't want to serve them or not. I don't feel to serve them.
That's good.
I have to serve them. And it's the same way. I don't feel to forgive. And so many times we say, yeah, in a church, right? Like literally inside of church. I'm not saying that's outside of church. Yeah. Inside of church, we're like, I don't feel to forgive this person. They don't deserve.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just drop the mic.
Yeah.
No, literally, they don't deserve.
That was a very good point.
No, very true, because it's not just like I was saying, right? It's not just in outside of church. Inside of church, we're like, I don't feel to forgive this person. I don't feel to forgive him. I don't feel like.
Oh, wow.
Let me tell you, probably Jesus wasn't feeling to die on the cross, man. And
Absolutely.
he chose to die at the cross for us.
Yeah.
We didn't deserve the love of God. And that little small, they didn't deserve my tip, my service for that tip, right? Doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's a decision that I make out of love towards that person or to my neighbor. It's out of love. 70 times 7, right? It's lifestyle. It is hard. It is really hard. It is a mindset. You're right.
That was so good.
Who been in the most? I hear all the people who bullying the most. You say you the GOAT, but who lambing the post? Who laminate souls? Who took all the stream and brought death to his nose? Yeah. But how do they love and care? Yeah. But how do they love and care? When they don't know me, they don't know me.